roughly 20% DPS, HPS reduction of the GCD penalty. Yeah, exactly. I've already messed around with it a little bit off stream, to be honest with you, and that's exactly what I experienced. But there's still a lot of people that are very confused as to this, and they feel like they're about to get replaced by the AI. And so I've had a lot of requests to go ahead and get on here and test it out for people. And so we're just gonna like illustrate that, and we're gonna make a bit of a video out of it, maybe make a short, and definitely make a clip here on YouTube. And we're going to just kind of put people's concerns at rest, because like I said, I tried this out multiple characters last night. It's really cool, actually. I'm actually a fan of this. I think this is really neat, but that's very contingent on the fact that it does not replace properly playing. It is painfully slow. Welcome in. Today we're going to be experimenting with 11.1.7, the patch here on the PTR. We're going to be testing out the single button rotation, and we're going to be just seeing what's up with this thing, because a lot of people are concerned about it replacing them, about it being better than like, you know, they are. The reality is that that's not really going to be typical. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. It's important to remember this has an 11.3 second, or my bad, a 0.3 second reduction on your GCD, and so it is kind of painfully slow. Oh, there's going to probably be some bugs while I'm doing this, but yeah, there's definitely some bugs while we're doing this, but it's going through. As you can see, it's really freaking slow. It's really slow. We're hitting like 350k DPS. It popped these 3 cooldowns, but it doesn't ever actually use like modifying cooldowns like Recklessness or Avatar or our Trinket here. It doesn't know to use certain things like Impending Victory or Intimidating Shout. It just does the base rotation along with, like, you know, primary rotational cooldowns. But as you can see here, it's definitely a lot slower. To me, it feels kind of painfully slow in comparison to actually just playing myself. And the DPS, it's alright. You know, we peaked out at like, what, 450? We're now 300k DPS and falling. And we're about 49 seconds in, 50 seconds in. We're going to get to the minute mark, and then we're going to evaluate, and then we're going to run another 1-minute test, but with me performing my rotation instead. All right, there's a minute. We're at 310k DPS. Basically, we can see we peaked out 450 or so, and we ended up chilling out at about 310 over a minute. We go ahead and just reset that. Stop looking at him here. We'll wait 2 seconds for that to come back off cooldown. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to use the rotation the same way that Thing does. And that's another thing, is that I don't, like, it is good, but I like the rotation it uses, but frankly, that's not how I'm going to play. But we're going to go ahead and just hit this, and right out of the gate, we're at 407,000. I'm going to go ahead and just drop the sphere, drop the dragon, drop this, do all that. It doesn't cause us, it doesn't force berserk on us, so we're not going to force berserk. I'm not going to do anything that it doesn't do. And we're coming out at about 450, 480. And I'm definitely not playing perfect by any means. I'm not here like mid-maxing my rotation or anything like that. I'm just like playing, you know, I'm chilling. And we're at 490, so we're solidly 40k higher than what it was before. Going off of memory, and of course, like, trying to pay attention to a few different things here at a time. But we're definitely maintaining a higher DPS for longer out of the gate here, and we're at 49 seconds, and it looks like we're going to end up ending quite a bit higher than it was. We were, what, at like 310k DPS by the end of a minute. We're at a minute, we're still at 475k. So I may have been mistaken, it may have been 410k there, but ultimately we are significantly higher in DPS than the 1-button macro had us be at. And that's about what I expected, because, like, honestly, with a 0.3 second GCD, like, seriously, guys, that is it sounds minimal, like it's 0.3 seconds, but that's such a huge part of what good DPS is, and how to have high DPS is you have to be fast. You have to have your setup be set up properly. You have to have your rotation down, and you need to be fast. You need to not have downtime, like 0.3 seconds between every. That's just the equivalent of this. It's a small difference, but it makes a big difference over time to your actual DPS. Yeah, see, and now that's about right. So, like, me hitting the rotation very slowly, this is very closely mimicking the DPS of the bot. And that's what I'll call it. You know, it's basically a bot. So ultimately, you know, I hope that that illustrates it really well, that this thing is not competing with you. It's not competing with me. I think that this is going to be great. Like me personally, if I ever decide, like I've remoted into WoW before, like during launches on my cell phone and stuff to like grind world quests or professions from my cell phone. It's not super hard to set up, but like the single button assist will absolutely help me do that, because when you do remote from your computer, you really can only use about 4 binds anyways. So like having this as one of them, and then having like recklessness and avatar, for example, is the other two. That makes a lot of sense for cell phone play. And I think that obviously the biggest thing here is that the people who will get the most advantage out of this is going to be people that for one reason or another, they can't physically play the game the way that they used to, or they never could physically play the game, you know. And we're talking about people that have experienced car accidents and strokes and had various health issues, and for one reason or another, you know, maybe they're missing fingers, maybe their hands shake, maybe they have weakness in their arms and hands from for some reason. Those people, they can't like sit here and play a full-fledged like 6 button spec and manage all these extra cooldowns and everything for, you know, a 10-minute boss fight. They just can't do that anymore, or maybe not at all. And so for those people, this is going to be a game changer. This is going to allow them to play the game, and that's going to bring up a lot of new players and returning players to the game that aren't there now. And that's going to be great for the game's health. On top of that, it's also really cool because it is a convenience thing. People that are just like questing, world questing, professions, this is going to be great for that. You know, if you just want to chill, or super casual players that don't really want to learn the mastery aspect of their class, this is going to be great for them. And I think that it's really important that they're adding something like this now. And I think that it's really good that they came out of the gate with the expectation that this isn't going to have, this isn't going to be replace people in their actual DPS rotations. This is an accessibility option, and it's really clear doing that with the global cooldown, because like seriously, we had nearly 500k DPS when I played. This was 330k. We just popped full cooldowns. This is 330k, guys. Like, this isn't replacing nobody. And for some players that, you know, that are maybe still new to their classes or whatever, and they aren't, you know, they aren't playing with 100% uptime, and they aren't playing with you know, like they're not performing at 100%, you know, like they're going to get a buff from this. People that are really bad at their class and they need some help to get started, this will raise the floor of skill in the game, and it won't affect the ceiling. So players like me, and for the, you know, good chance players like you as well, we're not going to be affected by this. This is going to be something that at most will be a you know, at most will be just something nice to have. But for the players that need this, it's going to be a game changer, and I think that's absolutely huge. And I have no fear at all of ever hearing a story of someone using this in the MDI, or using this in the Arena World Championship, or using this in Raid. You know, maybe normal, maybe LFR, but definitely not Mythic, definitely not Heroic. And even if people are using it in like normal or whatever, like who cares, right? Like they're not going to be the top DPS in the group. You're never going to find someone being the top DPS in the group using this button. And I am more sure of that now than I ever have been. So I hope that this has been good news for you guys. You know, I've tested this on a few different classes now. I've tested on DK, still leveling him, by the way, and I've tested it on this druid, on this warrior, as well as my druid, and it's the same story everywhere. This thing is really cool. This tool is really helpful. In fact, I think it's interesting to see it flick through the abilities and just see what the AI thinks I should be pressing. It challenges me to be like, oh, interesting. Maybe that's something I ought to try. You know, like taking kind of like tips and hints from it as to like, you know, what is the best rotation. Ultimately, I don't think it always makes the best choice. I found a few instances where I definitely would have done something a bit different than it would have for one reason or another, but a lot of that's based off of things that it doesn't have. It doesn't have intuition, it doesn't have experience, it doesn't have judgment, it doesn't have feeling. It doesn't know where I'm going to be in 5 seconds. It doesn't know what my goals are. It doesn't know any of this stuff. And so it can't possibly be expected to make the best decision for me. you know, and that's probably, aside from the GCD difference, that's the big thing that this just simply cannot and will not do, is that not all classes rotation is 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Many classes have priority systems that change on the fly dependent on your goal, and this is not smart enough to actually consider what your goal is to make the proper decision for you. So anyways, like I said before, guys, I hope that this puts you at rest, and that if you were concerned about this replacing you or replacing anyone else, that I hope that, you know, you don't have to worry about that anymore, because seriously, the DPS from this setup is not spectacular, that's for sure. It's not spectacular, but it is absolutely so much better than having nothing at all, and it's going to be a huge help for people that need it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe.